The 5th round of the Zodiac Tournament has come and passed, and you guys thought we had some terrible formats in this game's history. Well, let me tell you about the April 2003 ban list. Now, many of you might not be familiar with this point in the game. This is the last updated list since the December 2002 list. We've been cleaning up some of the messes that the game had. You guys remember, literally just, 2 lists ago, we had 3 Morphing Jar running around? Well, we now have Labyrinth of Nightmare in play. So, there's a few things we need to clarify here, but the biggest thing on this list is Sinister Serpent, Graceful Charity, and Harpies Feather Duster are all at 3. These cards recently just came out in video games at this current era, and there was a 1-month period where you got the ability to play maximized copies of all of these cards. Now, not only do you have to deal with everything from Labyrinth of Nightmare, you literally have to deal with double Heavy Storm, 3 Giant Tornado, 3 MST at this point in time, and you have Turbo Draw Power out the wazoo. And then the only major changes is Sangan is now limited to 1, Mage Power is now limited, United We Stand is now limited, and Magic Cylinder is not limited as well. Now, these might not seem like accurate hits, but the OTK potential that these 2 cards held, and having to deal with 3 Magic Cylinder in one format, no one really wanted to do that. Especially when you have just absolute degeneracy right here in just these 3 cards. The ability to have 5 back row at any point in the game, just to be able to call upon and wipe, so insane, especially with the draw power of 9. Also, Pot of Greed is legal at this point in time, so a lot of interesting things going on. Labyrinth of Nightmare gave a few interesting things to the game. We now have Gemini Elf, which is, I believe at this point in time, the strongest level 4 that you can normal summon. Chaser was the second biggest, coming in at TP1 at 1850, but we no longer have that. Also remember, Starter Deck Pegasus and Starter Deck Joey are now legal, so Scapegoat is now in the equation, along with Graceful Charity. But this set doesn't really give too much else to the game. You have 3 Torrential Tribute at this point as well, but to what advantage are you going to take advantage of this? Because in this format, you have 5 board wipes, technically 8 with 3 MST. Card of Safe Return doesn't really have applications at this point also, because not a lot you can do. You might be able to build up some gimmicky OTKs here, but for the most part, the set didn't really do much. Jar of Greed makes Exodia a little bit more playable with 3 Graceful Charity. Jowgen's a little bit more of a stall card, but you can play around it. The biggest thing besides Cylinder and Gemini Elf is Bazoo, because Bazoo's former text allowed you to remove any card. So playing the game at this current point in time, Bazoo can remove spells and traps from the graveyard to feed for him. Kaiku also had that same text, that he had the ability to remove spells and trap cards and prevent your opponent from capitalizing on these things. Also, true, we do have things like Zumbira as a normal summon beater, but you don't really get a lot of value out of this. Royal Command, limited, just general flip effects, but still Magician of Faith is floating at 3 at this current point in time. As for a set that changed the tone of the game, this set was very passive. The real damage that came into this format was from the starter decks. It's really weird to say that, because Bazoo is a really powerful card, and Bazoo's going to remain a threat in the game for probably a couple years to come after this. Kind of definitely seen Bazoo show up during the return formats, and the fact that Gemini Elf now exists. So every beat stick is now obsolete. So if you're playing a beatdown strategy, you're going to be tuning towards those chasers, and amongst other things. So what is something that you are looking at for this format? Well, this is the list that I have to showcase for you guys. I do want to say that this format was really spicy. The replay I actually have to show for you, you'll definitely kind of get the chance to just take a look at the absolute degeneracy that comes with triple Graceful Charity existing in a format. You've also got 3 Thunder Dragon and 3 Sinister Serpent. So your turbo ability And the overall resource pool that you have to you is just absolutely amazing. It's actually almost insane just how much of a degenerate toolbox that you have available to you. So let's go through the deck here and talk about a few things. So we have one Bazoo. This is post-errata, or pre-errata, so you can remove anything. One Cyberjar, one Jinzo, one Kaiku, triple Magician of Faith, two Mystic Tomato, one Sanguine, triple Sinister Serpent, triple Thunder Dragon, one Witch of the Black Forest, and two Gemini Elf. Kind of glad to see that Sanguine got the same treatment as Witch, because these two cards are very unfair as multiples. One Change of Heart, one Confiscation, one Dark Hole, triple Graceful Charity, two Feather Duster, one Monster Reborn, one Painful Choice, one Pot of Greed, one Premature Burial, one Raigeki, one Snatch Steal, one Forceful Sentry, one Upstart Goblin, one Call the Haunted, one Imperial Order, one Mere Force, and two Solemn Judgments. The extra deck's kind of irrelevant, but two Black Skull, two Flame Swordsman, two Fusionist, two Musician King, one The Last Way from Another Planet, 2,000 Dragon, 1,000 Eyes, and triple Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon. Side deck, one Morphing Jar, triple Penguin Knight. Just honestly, being able to control is very good in mill-out strategies. Two Eternal Rest, one Giant Grenade, one Feather Duster, triple MST, two Nobleman Crossout, one Offerings to the Doomed, and one Ceasefire. Also keep in mind that going into this format, Needleworm is actually now a viable deck out strategy. And really interesting to note, like if your opponent doesn't have an out to stop the resolution of your worm, you're going to be in a much better position because you can resolve and mill things. And that's where Penguin Knight actually comes in. Penguin Knight, if it's sent directly from the deck to the graveyard by a card controlled by your opponent, until unite your graveyard and your own deck. God, that card text. Unite. But there are a lot of strategies starting to form into this format. But the problem is, with the power cards such as Graceful Charity, Sinister Serpent, and Feather Duster existing in multiple numbers, these strategies, they can't really flourish. And if you go into this setting with a strategy like that, you're going to play burn, or you're going to play mill deck out. Graceful Charity also harms you about as much as it hurts you. And I mean, sure, you have multiple scapegoats to gain you on a defensive line, to kind of hold down where you're going with the game, but it's not really enough. The defensive capabilities that stuff like Scapegoat gives you, it's just literally a matter of time, because we have the duo of board wipes, and the amount of hand control that's literally apparent in this format is insane. I mean, we'll shuffle up here and take a look at some of these hands, like drawing 6. Like, Jesus. Double? Okay, so you'll discard this, go grab your other two Thunder Dragons, and you'll Graceful away whatever the hell you don't want. Such power plays. This hand's a little bit more passive. I mean, Thunder Dragon, Search, Set Tomato, or Set the Witch, depending on what plane you want to go. How many times can we draw Thunder Dragon? Draw 6. Graceful Charity. Thunder Dragon. Cool, we have discard targets. We did it. So much value. Pot of Greed allows me to draw into Graceful Charity with the Sinister Serpent. You guys kind of getting the feel like... I heard a lot of complaints about this format, but the format after this literally just kind of slows things down with Needleworm being a TP Ultra and things like that. This will be, before we get into the Cookie Cutter Chaos format, this is almost like the equivalent to Cookie Cutter Chaos, just because of the amount of staples going around. It's kind of interesting looking at former Yu-Gi-Oh! Just how many, you have so many staples that you want to play that it's almost like you can't fit all of the staples in your deck. As you see here, we don't even have Heavy Storms in the main, and even though Feather Duster is at maximum numbers, we're just opting to not play them, because there's only so much back row you need to deal with. And also, because the Imperial Order is pre-errata as well in this format, you don't want to get fucking burned or blown the fuck out just because of a calculated misplay on opening up multiple back row disruptors. Even in the case of you have MST to shut this off on the chain activation, which really helps. But you really need to watch your ass. Also, Judgment going into this format is losing a lot of power as well because of 5 back row. It's interesting to see Judgment just kind of loses power until much later in the game. So, this is all I have for you guys for the April 2003 list. Please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think about was a former interesting time in the game's history. And that's all I got, guys. The ride never ends, guys. Make sure you enable those notifications to get the latest videos that are being posted on this channel. Make sure you guys check out VanCole40 for my Cardfight Vanguard channel. And join me and House of Champions on the Zodiac Duelist TV Twitch stream. We'll be interacting with our audiences. And please check out No Limit Gaming and LGTCG.com for the cheapest trading cards on the market. Thanks for watching, guys, and please have a good day.